What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I talked about this in passing, but I want to go ahead and do a video congratulating the South Carolina Gamecocks on their 87-75 victory over the Iowa Hawkeyes. I believe this is Don Staley's third championship as the head coach of the Gamecocks, but I might be mistaken about that. Their defense really began to press Iowa, and in particular Caitlin Clark, in the third quarter. You may remember in the first quarter, Iowa got off to a 27-20 lead. 18 of those 27 points were scored by Caitlin Clark. That's when the front runner jumped on social media, jumping the gun, being a front runner, talking trash for anybody that has ever been objective with Caitlin Clark. But then his jinx mojo began to show, and South Carolina got back into the game. But it was the third quarter where they really began to dominate and control this game, and they wound up winning 87-75. They had a top-ranked defense in women's college basketball, and they held Clark to 10 of 28 shooting from the floor. But unlike Angel Reese, who was criticized for going 7 for 21, no one's going to criticize Caitlin Clark because people don't keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? I do want to say this. There's no doubt about it. Caitlin Clark is a superstar in women's college basketball. And this new crop of women, I think, are going to take the WNBA into a new stratosphere. That's why I think a lot of these old guard WNBA players are talking so much trash, because they know that their time is up in the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? Think about this for a second. We don't talk about this a lot, but you know that the competition in WNBA got to be kind of stinky for Diana Taurasi to be 41 years old and still averaging 16, 17 points a game. You know it got to be pretty bad for Sue Bird to be able to play until she's 43 years old. People talk about the NBA. The WNBA competition sucks. And that's why I welcome Caitlin Clark. I welcome Angel Reese. I welcome, in a few years, Juju Watson. I welcome this new guard coming in to take over and dominate and bring, put Diana Taurasi, who's the greatest WNBA player ever, no doubt about it, but to put her ass in retirement into a rocking chair. You know what I'm saying? But before I go, this game, this title game, set a record for views, and they've been setting records consistently. The game between Iowa and LSU averaged 12 million viewers. Peaked, I think, at 16 million. That was phenomenal. However, the game between Iowa and Connecticut averaged 14 million views and peaked at 17 million, right? That was phenomenal. But this game drew in a whopping 19 million viewers on average and peaked at 24 million. The most watched basketball game of any kind, including the pros, since 2019. So make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is a superstar, whether you like her or not. And she's going to be the face, along with Angel Reese, of the WNBA, period. And let me say this. To all you hobos, bobos, and clowns that's calling me a racist because I point out racism, it's funny, you don't say that when I talk about LeBron James all the time. So let me get this straight. I can be critical of LeBron James. I can be critical of, in the past, Kobe. I can be critical of, you know what I'm saying, Draymond Green, that's fine. But the minute I'm critical of somebody that is of a different hue, then all of a sudden your protectiveness comes in. But then you get mad when my protectiveness come in. You see how that works? I seen a couple of subscribers of mine who didn't write it on my videos, but I seen some other videos they were on insinuating I'm looking at this from purely a racial prism. And I'm not. I'm just speaking how I feel. There are double standards in the media. If you can't see that, then there's something wrong with you. But that doesn't mean that I don't, you know what I'm saying, appreciate Caitlin Clark's game. We've been down this road before. We've been down this road with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. There's always been, and always will be, if you pay attention to this, some of the highest rated games and some of the highest rated sports events, there was almost always a racial tension behind it. It was. Not always, but there is. Look, Bird and Magic. I'm not saying everybody that rooted for Larry Bird was a racist. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that there's nothing wrong with rooting for someone that you can relate to. If you're white and you root for Larry Bird, doesn't mean you're a racist. If you're black and you root for Magic Johnson, doesn't mean you're a racist. We don't do that when Filipinos were rooting for Manny Pacquiao. But for some reason, if you're black, you root for Floyd Mayweather, that means you're racist. Okay, then, well, we're playing that card. Then why aren't people rooting for the American and Deion Wilder when he goes up against non-Americans? If we're going to play that card. When Larry Holmes fought Jerry Cooney was no Rocky Marciano, but that fight did a lot of money. It was very high rated. There was a racial element. When Joe Louis fought Max Schmeling. When Archie Moore fought Rocky Marciano. I mean, it's there. You know, it's just that even when we have these Super Bowls, there's almost always a team that's perceived to be. I remember when New Orleans fought the Colts, and I was one of the few black persons I know that was going for the Colts. Everybody looking at me like I'm funny. Why? Because the Colts were perceived to be, quote unquote, America's team, put like that, at that time. So miss me with that, okay? Miss me with that. I know my history, and I know the media plays into these manipulations a lot. They do it. So, salute to South Carolina. Caitlin Clark, she's going to be a tremendous player, in my opinion. Angel Reese is going to be a great player. So, there's that.